Today we'll look into Unit 6, Modification by Inclusion and Confinement. So already we had seen mechanical methods, hydraulic methods. Next we had seen regarding chemical methods, and the last one what we have in this particular topic is modification by inclusion and confinement. For each and every method we were checking the advantages and the disadvantages, the economical conditions and all. So today we'll just look into modification by inclusion and confinement, for what type of soils this particular method can be used and whether it is economical or not. We'll just look into this. So this is Unit 6, Modification by Inclusion, and the duration for this is 8 periods. So what do we have in this is modification by inclusions and confinement. We have the concept of soil reinforcement, reinforcing materials what we use, applications of soil reinforcement and the use of stone columns, concept of confinement, and then gabion walls. So these are the various topics that are covered in this 8 periods. So this is modification by inclusions and confinement. So we'll just look into each and every topic and how it is being used. So modification by inclusions and confinement. So what is this aimed at? See, let us see what is this the main aim. This group is considered as strengthening soil by materials such as meshes, bars, strips and fabrics corresponding to tensile strength. Confining site with concrete, steel or fabric elements can also form stable earth retaining structures. Conventional pile foundations are not considered in this group, although sometimes they are called as compressive reinforcement. This is because the principal purpose of pile foundation is not strengthening the soil but to send the load to a stronger or greater depth stratum. So here he gives whatever we are doing for the tensile strength, in order to increase the tensile strength of the ground, that you are going to call it as inclusions and confinement modification. So here, in order to strengthen the soil, we are using different materials. What are the different materials? He is giving it as meshes, bars, strips, fibers and fabrics. So here fibers and fabrics, fibers can be glass fibers and fabrics can be geosynthetics, and meshes, bars and strips we use generally made up of steel, since steel is very good in your tensile strength, and fibers, optical fibers, glass fibers, they have a very good tensile strength. Because of all these reasons we are using this. So when you are confirming in any particular site, you are considering only a site. If at all, if you are using concrete, steel as well as fabric elements, it can form a stable earth retaining structures. But conventional pile foundation, I think we have already seen in BMCP. So this pile foundation generally doesn't come in this confinements and inclusions, because the main thing is in pile foundation you are not thinking about soil strengthening, you are mainly bothered about the amount of load that is coming onto the structure that has to be borne by the foundation. So for that reason, generally pile foundation is not considered as inclusions and confinement, whereas the other things, that is usage of materials like your strips or fabrics, it is considered as confinement and inclusions, because there we are using these elements in order to increase the strength of the soil. So for that reason, usage of fibers, meshes, bars, strips, as well as fabrics, in order to increase the tensile strength, that you are going to confirm it as modification by inclusions and confinement in ground modification. The first and foremost thing what we have in modifications by inclusion and confinement is soil reinforcement. We'll look into soil reinforcement at a later thing. Only thing is, in order to have an idea, I'm just giving you over here. Soil reinforcement as one of the ground improvement methods is a process of using synthetic or natural additive materials to improve the soil characteristics or properties. So what do you mean by soil reinforcement? You are adding any material to the soil so that its property or the characteristic nature of the soil itself is changed. So generally this one, where do we use? Wherein we have a problematic soil, for those things we can use it. So there are some reinforcement techniques to handle problematic soils. Hence the ground reinforcement techniques can be divided into some categories with different points of view. So here, whenever we talk about soil reinforcement, you are adding an additive in order to change the soil characteristics. When you are adding an additive, here you have two different methods. The additive can be natural additive or else a synthetic additive. Next, this additive, whatever you are adding, it can be again a different type of material like your strips or fibers of fabrics. So depending on all these and how you are going to change the property of the soil. So the soil reinforcement varieties will be changing, or the different categories will be changing. So we'll just look into that, how it is being achieved in the soil. So this figure clearly gives you the soil reinforcement methods. So what are the soil reinforcement methods? He had given first the physical, the next mechanical, the third chemical. So physical, what are the things we have in physical? Vibration, thermoelectrical, freezing and thawing. So these are the three main things when you are using physical methods of soil reinforcement. In the next thing we have mechanical methods. In mechanical methods, what do we have? We have using fibrous materials. This usage of fibrous materials is again divided into geosynthetical family and randomly distributed fibers. So when we have this geosynthetical family, what are the geosynthetical family we have? Geogrades, geotextiles. Yes, we have all the geomaterials, geogrades, geocomposites, all these forms your geosynthetical family. And the next one is randomly distributed fibers. These randomly distributed fibers are your natural fibers, man-made fibers or miscellaneous fibers. And next, in the next method what we have is compaction method. It is only using surcharge load. So these two, fibrous material as well as compaction materials, comes under your mechanical methods. Next we have chemical methods. What are these chemical methods? We have conventional materials, cement, lime and bitumen. We had already seen in the chemical methods of modification how the cement, lime, bitumen when added, it is going to change the chemical properties of the soil. How it is going to add or strengthen up the soil. So that is your first thing. Next one we have in chemical method is enzymes. So we are using some enzymes in order to change the properties. So that is one. And the next thing what we have is polymeric resins. This polymeric resins, we have polyvinyl alcohol, polyvinyl acetate, acrylic and many other things regarding urea, formaldehyde, polymethyl methate. All these are different materials, different resinous materials you are adding to the soil in order to change. So here all these methods comes under your soil reinforcement method. Anything that you are adding to the soil in order to change its properties comes under your soil reinforcement methods. Generally, the soil reinforcement methods is totally based on the soil grain size. So for what type of soils we need to use which method, it totally depends on it totally depends upon what is the property of the soil and also what is the grain size of the soil. So these are reinforcement methods which in general will be using it in the site. So these are your methods: physical, chemical as well as mechanical methods, and different types of synthetics we use, different types of natural fibers we use for reinforcement. So here, ground modification by inclusions and confinement, soil reinforcement. So when do you call a soil to be reinforced? So we'll just try to define what is a reinforced soil and in what categories or in what principle do we consider a soil to be reinforced. Reinforced soil is originally defined as a soil which is strengthened by a material able to resist tensile stresses and which interacts with the soil through friction and or adhesion. So here he defines, when you are adding any material wherein you are going to change the tensile stresses of the soil, whether it is because of friction or else because of adhesion property, such a things only we are going to call it as reinforced soil. See, generally even in reinforced cement concrete is good in compression. When you say RCC, only when there is an application of steel in the reinforcement area, then only we are going to call that as reinforced steel. So here also in soil, when you are considering, if at all if you are going to add an element which is increasing the tensile stress of the soil, then you are going to call it as reinforced soil. So how is it you are able to attain this reinforcement? It can be because of friction of the molecules between the molecules or else because of the adhesion property. So in both the things we consider this. Subsequently, the meaning of the soil reinforcement was broadened, and this term is now also used for other mechanical and structural methods of soil improvement, such as compressive reinforcement by confinement and encapsulation. So here what happened, as the days are going on increasing, the name itself we have changed. And how did we change? We have even classified this on a broader means, saying that whether any particular soil is increased either of its compressive reinforcement, also you are going to call it as reinforced soil. So here he gives a word of confinement as well as encapsulation. We'll see what is that. So the main purpose of soil reinforcement is to increase the stability of the soil, improve the bearing capacity and reduce settlement and lateral deformation. So why is it you are going to reinforce soil? First thing is to increase the stability. Ground modification itself means increase the stability, increase the bearing capacity, decrease the settlement as well as lateral deformation. So here even in inclusions and confinement you are going to achieve the main aim of modification. So how we are going to achieve, we'll see. The wider definition of soil reinforcement also includes erosion control methods and stress transfer via anchors and piles. So we said soil is reinforced. Soil is being added with some strips or other methods wherein you are going to increase the tensile strength. So here he gives soil reinforcement on a broader classification. You can even mention erosion control methods and stress transfer methods. How you are going to achieve this? Using some anchors as well as piles. See, pile foundation doesn't come under soil reinforcement, but piles usage comes under your soil reinforcement. There is a difference between pile foundation as well as we are using in order to increase the soil strength. This term becomes complicated since many materials used to improve engineering properties of the soil, for example geotextiles that can be used for multi-purposes, So here this term, no, we whatever we use, it is becoming complicated because of the usage of geotextiles. Why geotextiles are used for different things, to strengthen the water, to control groundwater flow, and also to separate different soil layers during construction. In all these things, the major things wherein you want the structural behavior to be strengthened, groundwater to be controlled, and separation of different layers during construction, in all these places we are going to use this geotextiles. Another material is even from the root and natural geotextiles from bamboo, that it can also increase strength of the soil structure. So here he gives, so even though we are using different materials, bamboo is one of the material which is used in order to increase the soil structure. So here, whether you are using geotextiles or bamboos, from the natural fibers, from the root to all the parts we are going to use in our soil structure. So that also, bamboo also changes the structure of the soil as well as properties of the soil widely. Soil reinforcement is not a new concept. See, the soil reinforcement, we are thinking that the ground modification, soil reinforcement is a new topic which we have been using. But when we check the history, we have been using since 3000 years old. Here I just mentioned you some of the usages where we found them. Soil reinforcement is not a new concept. The ancient geogrids found in Iraq, which are more than 3000 years old, is one of the early examples of soil reinforcement application. So here we can find the usage of soil reinforcement 3000 years back, and the constructions that were made then are even now very nice, even with respect to the stability or with respect to the aesthetical view, everything it is being found use, very neat. So here he gives, for that reason only, this one was 3000 years old back, and even in Iraq they have used. It means that mainly wherever the silty soil, sandy soils, loose particles are used, over there you can do this particular method, you can use this particular method. Reeds, reinforced earth leaves, were constructed along Tiber river by the Romans. So reed is the construction. What is reed? Reinforced earth leaves. These were constructed along the Tiber river so that you can have an embankment type over there. The modern uses of soil reinforcement appeared in 1960s with the development of reinforced earth retaining walls and geotextile stabilization of haul roads and access roads. So here, in the age-old days itself, the Roman people were using in order to serve as an embankment or serve as an retaining wall nearby your rivers. So here, after that, in 1960s, because of the structures developed because of reinforced earth retaining walls and geotextile stabilization, this particular concept of soil reinforcement is extensively being used. So that is our soil reinforcement. Means right from the age old, we were using this soil reinforcement concept. So here in this particular diagram, this is your Roman or Iraqi construction that has been made. So just since we said soil reinforcement usage, it was 3000 years back, this particular figure is just taken from the site and then given to you so that you can just observe that. So such a heavy structure is able to be stabilized because of the support of stabilized soil. So that is your geogrids in Iraq. So fiber reinforced soil, this is another method which we use. Another solution to reinforce soil is by using fiber. It has been a solution to stabilize thin soil and localize the repair of failed slopes. So wherein the soil is very thin, the soil granules are very small. So for those type of soils we have used fiber reinforced materials to enhance its property. So this had been used in repair of failure slopes as well as to stabilize thin soils. Unlikely geosynthetics, another reinforcement method using fibers is applied by disturbing the fibers randomly. So here what is the next thing? Geosynthetics also we are doing it, but only thing is the fibers are randomly disturbed in this. Fibers which can be used, either natural fibers or synthetic fibers, made a simple study by reviewing more than 100 researchers by soil reinforcement. So these fibers, whatever we can use, it can be natural fibers or synthetic fibers. Both they find their use in reinforcing your soil. And this one had been studied by thousands of researchers and then published. So fiber, whether it is a geosynthetical fiber, natural fiber or synthetic fiber, anything that we are using is going to increase the soil strength. So here he gives, to prepare sample or specimens of fiber reinforced soils to be tested in the laboratory, how is that we are going to do? See, generally this fiber reinforcement, how do we apply? We'll just take some fibers, randomly mix it in the soil and then we'll be testing it. So here what happens, he is giving it. To prepare soil or specimens of fiber reinforced soils to be tested in the laboratory, it can be mixed either manually or mechanically by using mixing machine. Whatever the mixing method used, many researchers implicitly assume that fibers will be randomly distributed in the soil mass. That orientation distribution should give the soil strength isotropy. So here mainly what is the soil strength? The soil strength is mainly because of random distribution of the fibers in the soil mass. These, when they are arranged, they lose its strength. If they are randomly distributed, their orientation distribution itself will be adding up to the soil strength isotropy. Because of that itself, the specimens of fiber reinforced soils will be increased. So that is the main reason that we are using this soils, mixing it randomly either by hand or else using your mechanical means. So this is what is soil fibers or soil reinforced fiber materials. So it has been found that whether it is geosynthetical materials or else fiber reinforced soils, both the things they are having equal strength. That is, when compared to the soil bearing capacity or the soil strength, in both the cases, whether it is fiber reinforced materials or geosynthetics usage, both it doesn't vary much. Both will be having almost equal strength. Effects of fiber reinforced soils are relatively similar to geosynthetics reinforced soil for both coarse grained as well as for fine grained. So for fine grained soils or coarse grained soils, when you are using fiber reinforced soil or else geosynthetics, both serve the same purpose of increasing bearing capacity as well as soil strength. So here in this slide we are discussing about the natural fiber, that is our coir, coconut fiber. So there are some common natural fibers that are discussed and the person who had done the research was Hizazi et al. In 2012. Here he gives coconut fiber. It was from matured coconut or coconut husk, normally 50 to 350 long, and contains mainly cellulose, pectin, tannin, lignin, and other water soluble substances. See, generally, when you take coconut fiber, this coconut fiber has mainly cellulose, and other substances that are present are pectin, tannin, lignin, and other water soluble substances. Due to high lignin content, it will be degraded slowly than other natural fibers. So here he gives. So when compared to other natural fibers, this particular coconut will be degrading slowly. And how much time will it be taking? Because of this, the coconut fiber can be long lasting, around 4 to 10 years of service life. Typically, it has too much tensile strength when wet. This fiber is produced mostly in South Asian countries like Indonesia, Philippines, and India. Reinforcing soil by coir fibers can increase tensile strength and reduce the settlement. So here, see, this naturally made material, that is your coconut fibers, they don't degrade very fast. The degradation is very slow. Because of the degradation slowly, what will happen? They will be long lasting and they give more life. So 4 to 10 years of service life they will be giving. And the tensile strength of the soil will be very much more when this particular coconut fiber is in wet condition. And this is the natural material and which will be available adequately in our country also, not only for reinforcement of of the soil. We use this coconut also to increase the strength, to increase the height of your flooring. The height of the flooring also can be increased considerably using this coconut fiber. The main thing over here is why I am telling is coconut fiber has got many purposes in our construction industry. In order to increase the height of the building, height of your flooring, they just use it mixing with some other material, and this becomes most economical and also cheaper material. But the strength will be good, and the amount of load that is catching up because of this fiber will be very less when compared to other methods. Because of this usage, coconut is being used in many ways in the construction industry. The next fibers what we use are palm fibers. So here what are the main properties, we'll just see. This fiber, which has got low elasticity modulus and tensile strength, is extracted from decomposed palm trees. Soil reinforced with palm fibers has greater unconfined compressive strength. So this one, when you are taking mainly palm fibers, what is the main use of palm fibers? You find its use mainly relating to your unconfined compressive strength. So the tensile strength of the palm fibers is almost zero. So for that reason, what is that it is giving? Elasticity modulus is also less. So it is giving more of compressive strength and CBR and shear strength parameters. So it has a greater use mainly when you are considering your pavement design. We find its use, the palm leaves or the palm fibers, they use mainly in pavement designs, wherein the compressive strength need to be increased randomly, or it has to be increased to a great extent. Over there we use palm fibers. So the graph here shows you the difference in the strength or the strength gained because of 20 mm fiber length and 40 mm fiber length, and how much is the difference in variation related to maximum strength, and in percentile it is being given. So here he gives, when you are using palm fibers, you can increase the strength randomly or you can increase the strength to a greater extent. If you are using more of 40 mm fiber length, you will be getting more strength when compared to 20 mm fiber length. So that can be read by your graph. So the next common fiber what we generally use is jute. So all these materials in India we had been using since a long time. So let us see how jute is also used. Jute is one of the natural fibers grown in India, China, Pakistan, Bangladesh and Thailand. And the people who ever conducted the experiment was Singh and Bagra. They conducted a study about the effect of jute fiber inclusion on CBR improvements. So what is the CBR? California bearing ratio. Where do we use this? We use it mainly in pavement design. So the contents of jute fiber were determined by dry weight of the soil, which are 0.25% to 1%. Other variation used in dimensions of the fiber are length and diameter of the fiber. The lengths were 30 mm up to 90 mm with an interval of 30 mm, while two diameters were considered, 1 mm and 2 mm. Test results are shown in the next slide. So here he gives CBR value of soil was increased as inclusion of jute fiber. Maximum increase is 200% at 1% jute fiber inclusion with a diameter of 2 mm and 90 mm length. So here he gives how much value was it increased, almost to 200%, wherein attainment of that 200% is a great achievement just by using fiber inclusions. So related to that, we have in the next slide how and what is the length as well as the diameter of the fiber. So look at the graph. We have 3 graphs and the 3 graphs are related to 2 mm and 4 mm length, and here 1 mm and 2 mm length. And the next thing what we have is the dotted line, and this the dotted line 2 mm and the dotted line 1 mm and 2 mm. For each and everything we have related to 30 mm, next to 90 mm, 60 mm length. And how is the change in CBR value? How much value did it change? It has changed enormously to 200%. So over here you can just read that from the graph. So the next what we have is usage of synthetic fibers. Synthetic fibers are fibers made by man. So the main synthetic fibers which we use are polypropylene fibers. Polypropylene fiber is the most common synthetic fiber used as a reinforcement material for the soil improvement and concrete. So this fiber has got the properties of hydrophobic, non-corrosive resistance over chemicals, alkalis and chlorides. So here polypropylene, what is the main use? It is hydrophobic. It doesn't stick to the water molecules. The next one is non-corrosive action, and the next one what it has is it is not resistant to chemical, alkali and chloride reactions. It doesn't react with any of those materials. For that reason, generally we are using this polypropylene fiber in concrete as well as for soil reinforcement. Polypropylene fiber can increase UCS and shear strength, ultimate compressive strength as well as your shear strength. It is going to increase, and those are the scientists who have done experiments and given the results. So polypropylene fiber, it can be used in soil reinforcement, in soil as well as in concrete because of its hydrophobic reactions, a hydrophobic property. The next synthetic fiber what we use is polyester. It is also one of the polymer category, contains ester functional group in their main chain. So ester group, functional group, we have got it in the main chain. Although many types of this polymer, it is commonly referred to as polyethylene tetraphthalate PET. So here he has Maheshwari was the person who had studied the usage of this PET polyester mainly for your clay soil. And this clay soil, when we have the distribution of this polyester fiber, it is having increased its strength, increased mainly the bearing capacity. So here he gives one of the polymer category contains the ester functional group is in their main chain is your polyester. Although many types of this polymer, it is commonly referred to as polyethylene tetraphthalate PET. And it was studied that in clay soil reinforced with randomly distributed polyester fiber, amount of polyester fibers mixed with clay soil varies from 0 to 1%. The result of this study showed that significant increase in bearing capacity with the inclusion of polyester fibers up to 0.5%. Then it will be decreased with further inclusion of fibers. So what is happening? The increasing bearing capacity of the soil because of usage of this polyester fibers. It is increasing to a greater extent. So for that reason we can use this polyester, but we need to check the amount of usage of this material in clay soils. So clay soils only they have checked and they have given the results. So up to 0.5% we can add it. The next synthetic fibers what we use is glass fibers. So this glass fibers they have using these fibers to the maximum extent because the strength increased is more. Glass fibers inclusion in silty sand increases triaxial peak strength because fiber inclusion is more effective for uncemented soil. So here glass soils in which type of glass fibers in which type of soils are we using more? Mainly in silty sands, and the strength increase because of this usage is more. Triaxial peak strength is increasing. The friction angle of glass fiber reinforced sandy soil is also increased from 35 degrees to 46 degrees. Significant improve in soil strength parameters of glass fiber soil into various soil media happened. This is shown clearly by increasing the cohesion values and internal friction angles. The lightweight ready availability on non-biodegradable properties of this fiber is advantage proof that this fiber can be used for long-term soil reinforcement. So this particular fiber has been found its usage in many things, mainly by changing its friction angle. By changing the friction angle, these fibers are increasing the strength enormously. And also this is a non-biodegradable element, and this is available readily and it is light in weight. Because of all these three main characteristics of glass fibers, we are finding its usage in soil improvement. And when we are adding this is a long-term soil reinforcement. So the advantages and the disadvantages of these fiber reinforcement materials in soil reinforcement. See, the advantages is mainly whenever you are taking the natural fibers, they are readily available, they are cheap, and they are eco-friendly elements, and they are increasing the strength enormously. Next, it is not being affected by any weather conditions, and tensile strength is also increasing. They are lightweight. So because of all these uses, we are finding their use in soil reinforcement, but at the same time it too has got some of the disadvantages. So let us see what are the advantages. Cheap, locally and widely available, eco-friendly. This is with respect to our normal natural fibers like jute, bamboo, coconut, palm, all these. One is giving tensile strength, the other one is giving compressive strength. So in those ways, these are very cheap materials and they are locally available materials, biodegradable materials, eco-friendly materials. Because of all these properties, we are finding its use in soil reinforcement. It can enhance the soil strength, reduce the swelling and shrinkage properties. So what is it doing? It is increasing the soil strength, it is decreasing the swelling and shrinkage properties, which is very good and which is needed for that particular construction. It is not significantly affected by weather conditions compared to cement, lime and other chemical stabilization techniques. So and the next thing is, it is not affected by weather conditions. Even when you are using these natural fibers also, these are not affecting much, because the groundwater or else they are resistant even to chemical attacks and all this. Because of all these, they are finding its use. So reinforcing soil with fiber can inhibit the tensile crack propagation and change the failure mechanism after initial formation. And reinforcing soil itself means that you are going to increase the tensile strength. So here the tensile crack propagation and change of failure mechanism takes place. The lightweight, ruddy availability characteristics of glass fiber is a proof that glass fiber can be used for long time soil reinforcement. And this glass fiber, because of its availability as well as because of its lightweight, it is finding its use in an enormous manner, that too for long term soil stabilization. These are the main advantages of soil reinforcement. What is the main disadvantage of using fiber reinforced material? Despite the fact that many researches have been conducted to determine the effects of using fiber to improve the soil, there is still no scientific procedures or standards, especially for field projects. So mainly, even though we are conducting for small projects the usage of all these fibers, with regards to the strength or with regards to improvement in the soil, there is no scientific procedure or there is no standard procedure, and how it has to be implemented in the field is also not given authenticately. Because of all these, we are not using this, we are not finding their use in our projects. So if at all more and more things are being done, then we may get more of the usage of these fibers in our field projects. So with this, we'll be coming to the end of modification by inclusions and confinement, wherein we have gone through the usage of fibers in our soil reinforcing methods. So we have taken natural fibers inclusion, or else we have taken even synthetic fibers inclusion in order to change the strength of your soil. So how it is varying, we have already given. So tomorrow we'll just look into the confinement procedures. So with this, your inclusion procedures are completed.